Welcome back to my craft room. It's Kathy from Raven Vintage. We are on part 4 of a series. We're working on a lavender vintage junk journal using the Lavender Lane kit from my Etsy shop. We talked about doing a formula for putting our signatures together. We used a book, an old book, and we sewed our signatures right through the spine. Today we're going to cover that spine. We're going to do a journal topper. We're going to do a closure. I'm not going to set my sights higher than that. I know we can get those 3 things done, and if we have time for more, we will do that. I have a journal here for inspiration for my journal topper that I have in mind, which we'll get to in a second. I have a pack of ephemera, which we'll get to in a minute. And then I have these are the freebies in my coffee shop, or Ko-fi, however you pronounce it. I'm sure it's but meant to be pronounced coffee because it's Buy Me a Coffee and their logo is a coffee cup. So why would it not be coffee? Even though our logical brain wants to say Ko-fi. It is, this is the freebie that matches the Lavender Lane kit. So there's tabs, there's tickets, there's a bookmark, some banner flags, a medallion, some more tags, and then I've some like faux washi there. So I think I'm going to be using one of these larger tags for my journal topper. And I have some beautiful cardstock here. It's like a linen feel. I grabbed that out of my scraps. And then I also printed a few options here. So this is tracing paper. And guess what? I put it right through my printer. I did not attach it to another piece of paper. It got chewed up and bent a little bit, but I did these. It worked. It's still printed. So these are just tracing paper. When I see pads of tracing paper at when I'm thrifting, I always grab those, even if there's some sheets missing. It's much cheaper than buying a new pack. But so this is a tracing paper. That's one option. This is the same thing, photo paper. When I see packages of photo paper at the thrift store, I quite often will pick those up. And right now I have a good supply, so I wouldn't right now, but I wanted to print this image here on photo paper. So this is like a Kodak paper with a sheen to it. And then this is also photo paper, but it's a matte photo paper. So I just wanted to get this. It's a really nice thick, not as thick as cardstock, but the matte photo paper just does something to your image with, I don't know, I can see the I don't know if it shows on camera or not, but I can see the clouds back here, the little bird, like all the detail just really, really shows up nicely on that photo paper. And this is a piece of plain paper. Not sure why you're here. You were not invited to the party, so you can sit over there. All right. So just a few things I wanted to show you. And I grabbed, like you mentioned, this ephemera. This is the memoir package from Tim Holtz, The Ideology. There is a lot. There's 102 pieces in here. These are in my Amazon storefront, and I believe on the US Amazon.com it's on sale right now. So it is, I'll link it below. I'm going to make a note because I say things and then I forget after. And I do apologize if I've done that before. Said I'm going to do something like a link or something and then I don't. You catch me though. You keep me on my toes, so that's great. So I'm going to link the ephemera pack. Okay, thank you, Kathy. Good. This is one of my notebooks on Amazon. I'll try to link that too. It's just one of my designs using one of my collage elements I've done. And it's a lined notebook. It's like a little composition notebook. I'll link that too. I have a couple. Here's another one of my notebooks on Amazon. It's beautiful. I love the feel of these covers. But this one has like ivory colored sheets in it, lined with a margin. So just a composition notebook. This one's bigger, and then there's room here to write whatever you want on the front, and because it's matte you can. And that's that side. Okay, enough about my notebooks. Thanks for letting me do my odd plug here and there. Okay, ephemera packs. So this, I just wanted to show you a couple ways I store my ephemera. These are stamps that I pick up in a baggie, usually at like an antique store or something. This is nice. This is from the dollar store, and you can see everything pretty quickly. But also what's really nice about standing your stamps up like this is you can leaf through them quickly. Like I was looking, I had this out because I was looking for purple to go with my journal here. Oops, that's upside down. So I like that little storage trick for stamps, and those stack, of course. That's really nice. Then for ephemera, I have a few options. So this kind of pack here will go into something like this. So I separate them, so I have this size, and then I have some long narrow ones, and then I put different shapes like circles in here, and then these ones are odd shapes, so they're in here, and then the bigger ones go in there. There's some odd shapes in here. These are teeny tinies over here. So that's how I will eventually sort this, and then the bigger pieces go into another bin, because you know what size you're looking for. So it's great to sort them by size. And I know some people are very interested in how I organize, so just bear with me for a second for those of you that are. This is a snackle box, and so I have like stickers in here. This is great because these all come out. So you, when you're crafting and you know, for example, here I want to go through my seed cards. I would, oops, there's some fabric in there. Get out of there. So I could just quickly pull this one out and go through my seed cards. Bless you, Ruby. This is just odds and sods. That's one of my snackle boxes. And then the other one, when you get this pack here, this is the other one that comes with that set, the other snackle box. So here I have ephemera, like clusters that I've made in here. So I grabbed this because I want to grab a few clusters for this journal. Here is a hidden paper clip. Maybe we'll use that. It's the right color. So here's some bunch of hidden paper clips I've made. And then I've made some of these cluster things that we are going to name, I think, whipsies. What were we going to call them? That sounds about right. But again, these trays come out, so when you're crafting, you can just pull this one near you if you knew that that's what you were working on. So those are just a few ways that I organize my ephemera. And of course, these stacked, but it has, this is what I want to replicate on the front. I want to do this, and then there's a little pocket there. I want to replicate, and there's a pocket here. So I would like to replicate this. So I'll cut this out first. I'm not sure which one I like. I think I like this one. So I also think I'm going to put this top, I was thinking about journal toppers. It tends to be, for me, doing the top of the journal is, it gives me a little anxiety. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to practice. One thing I'm going to do, practice making journal toppers, and just make, perhaps we'll do a video on that and make a bunch of them so that we have them ready to just add to a journal, for one thing, but also because I need to practice that and get more comfortable with the front. I mean, it's you know, it's your first impression of this, what's inside this journal. So I really like this idea. I like the idea of the toppers that are like little notepads and stuff that you can just take this and remove it as a separate notebook or something. Those are also neat, that then you just lay back on top and tie up. Those are cool. I like those. But I really want to do this one today. But yes, I think we're going to do that probably very soon. We'll do a video about journal toppers. Okay, so if there's any journal toppers you would like to see demonstrated, let me know in the comments below, and we will we'll get to those. So this I want to frame out. Okay, so that, call that the bottom. All right. So I want to keep this margin all the way around. So I want to do a score line close. I'm going to try to keep, and then I'll cut the ends off to fit. So I think it's best to start with where I want the folds. So just judging by eye, I want the same distance that's here and here on the side. I'm going to guess, let's use this score line here. And then over on this side, just by eye. Okay, are you with me so far? And then this will fold. It's the wrong way. There we go. Okay, so this one has it's an opening down here, which I may not do, but I have two different heights, and this one, and they don't come all the way across for another. So if I were to bring this over, and that's going to be this piece, I don't need to do it exactly, I'm just getting an idea. I'm going to say about right here and maybe here. Just going to give myself a little pinch crease there so I know where to cut. So we'll cut this off, and then I want to cut part way, so I'm going to guess about here. I don't know, I'm making it up as I go along, so I can measure that for you. So let's see, this thing is just about 6 1/4 inches tall. I made it 3.75 inches wide, if you're centimeters, so just over 15 centimeters, just under 10 centimeters. And then this piece here, we'll do centimeters first, about 11 centimeters tall, 7.5 centimeters wide, and in inches, almost 4.5, and about 3 inches wide. Okay, so that's the first one. And then this one, I want to make it lower, and I'm going to fold it back about, yay, but like that. So we'll cut that much off. Let's start with that part. Now the reason I'm using, you could use it if you don't have a light purple, if you're using the lavender kit, you could also do an ivory or a sepia or something else, or black even. The idea is just to have a solid something or other to frame this, and then when that lays on top of this, we get a break between this pattern and this pattern. So that's the purpose of doing, and that helps that pop. So that is the purpose of picking a solid. Now you could go with a solid tag and do a pattern piece of cardstock, but whatever, you know what I mean. You could go solid, pattern, solid, up to you. This is what I was thinking to, like, I really like this. I like the colors in this. It's a real vintage vibe, but I didn't frame that one. So I think this is a better idea to frame this one. This will be inside, of course. So I want it to show. So I want that showing. That's perfect. So I want to come down, I don't know. Let's come down a fair amount. I'm just guessing. Definitely lower than that. I could do the same. How about that? The distance between here to here, we could do the same distance here to here. Those kinds of things are pleasing to the brain. So that's 1 3/4. Looks like 1 3/4. Come from this line here where I cut on the first one, I'm coming down 1 3/4. Yeah, about there. Just to give myself an idea. Now I want a straight line, so I'm just going to use my trimmer. There. And I don't know, I think this one could use a little. Going to be cut to match the tag, I should say. Like right here and right here. So let's ink this first, glue it down, and then we'll know where to cut our... How do you take your coffee? I am a double cream. No sugar, double cream, just double cream. I don't mind a black coffee once in a while, but I really do like having my cream in my coffee. No sugar though. I used to be a double girl, but I no longer take sugar in my coffee. Once in a while, I get a double by mistake because sometimes I make a mistake at the drive-thru and I take a, oh, it's so sweet. It's like, ugh, I can't. So that's glued on now. We're just going to do this by eye. I'm just going to kind of follow that same distance of a margin around the tag. Like that. Okay. I feel like this one's just way too tall. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut that one back a little bit more. Oh, I'm going to try to cut straight line. Let's see how we do. There, I like that better. Okay. All right, great. So we have our shapes. Now you can round your corners if you want. I'm going to leave them squared off like that. It's got a little bit of a hang down. So two ways to fix that. You can line it up at the bottom very nice and revisit your crease there. That did it. It's got a few little bits here to cut off. There we go. Okay. That will go there. Okay, so here's the one on photo paper. You can see it's got a bit of a sheen to it. So that's really cute. So she's just going to be peeking out there, and I think that's precious. Okay, I would like to round these corners and then ink the edges on that, and then we'll figure out the pocket for the bottom. So I'm just going to do this little tiny rounder here. What is that? 4 millimeter. Now I don't want, for a moment I considered maybe putting some lined paper on the back, so this could be a journaling card. But I think if you journaled on this photo paper, your pen mark, like it would bump through, it would show through. So I think that should not be a writing card or a journaling card. So on the photo paper, I just don't think it's a good idea. Okay, so that will be in here. Lovely. So I would like to put something on here and here. Some of this stuff here was nice and wide. This is a vintage lace and it is really wide. And it might be perfect. Well, let's just go for it. I think it's beautiful. Go in between all of these. We'll just glue this part because we know for sure that's covered, and then we'll go back and glue underneath on the paper portion. Really good coverage at the top and bottom. Okay. So I am just going to lay it down. That's good there. That looks good there. Okay. So pretty. That is really pretty. It's just like a really light ivory color. It's gorgeous. All right. So this will make a difference on where I glue the journal topper. We'll make a decision whether to center it between the lace and the edge of the lace and the edge of the book, or just still center it for the total book width of the book. It depends sometimes. It depends on, just depends. You'll know when you see it. You'll be like, yep, that looks better. So no rules. That laid down so nice. Gorgeous. Isn't that pretty? Love it. And then the back. I don't even like the back. The back's even nicer. I don't know. I like it. Okay, so let's see. Out to here. Yep. There, and then where it looks like it's not completely straight, you can pull both ends just to get a straight line. That. And then where I see it looks like it's a little short, we'll just give it a little nudge this way. Oh my goodness. Okay, so sorry about the smackdown with the tools. All right, so let's just check our open and close. Open and close. So here you could come back in with that same lace. We could cut this lace in half down the center and you could put some lace, or you could right there like that and cover up this We'll see. We'll decide after. But that's just one more thing to reinforce that spine, which I think is beautiful. Oh my goodness, that's pretty. So pretty. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Now you can center this between this line, like this edge and this edge, or you can just still center it right on top of the journal. So you have the same distance here and here. I kind of like it. Like I said, you'll know when you see it. What would you do? I don't know. I think I'm going to center it this way. Doing here and here. So this is offset to the book itself, but I'm quite okay with that because depending on where we put our bow, we can balance that. All right, so let's get this laid down. Whoopee. There, I'm pretty happy with that. Beautiful. So pretty. Okay. So you are going to need a pocket. It's a little wide, but we could cut it. I really do like the colors. And I like the way it looks there. That's good. This pocket, so I'm going to hold here. Okay, so technically you have a pocket there as well. And that's going to be on the outside. Perfect. I love the colors. Okay, and something behind here. Now, I found this in my scraps. It's like a velvet wallpaper. Or it could have been scrapbook paper. I'm not sure. I just assumed it was wallpaper. So I thought I would like to incorporate that in this journal. So I think this would be a good place to introduce it right here on the cover. So we'll do a piece of this for this pocket. Let's get this glued down. I was just reading my comment from Dorothea from the part 3, and Dorothea said she just likes to watch the beauty unfold. She's enjoying the videos. She's not as organized as she used to be, but hey, that's okay, Dorothea. We all have our seasons of... I love all the layers, and it's beautiful. I really love this. And I love that she's just peeking out there and it looks like an actual photograph. I don't want them to be too thick because I want this to lay down fairly nice. So it doesn't have to be pockets on the inside. Let's introduce a little bit of ephemera now into here. And we'll see if any of these are wide enough to be a pocket. Like this one here. Are you wide enough as a pocket? Let's see. Perfect. I quite like that. Okay. Okay, so just a very thin line of glue for our edges of our pocket. So sorry, Dorothea, I was saying, she said she's not as organized as she used to be. That's okay, darling. That's okay. As long as you know where your stuff is. There. She's Just gonna tuck in there. And like I said, we could just decorate here, or you could do more pockets, but I think there's enough pockets here. See, already that wants to lift on me. Yeah, I think that's good right there. And then from the, love it, we could put something on this, some lace or something. Tickets that I made, or tags I should say. This lace here is what I'm thinking. Yeah, that would be pretty. So that is this stuff here. Oh, we can just go right across the top of it. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. All right. To waste the whole thing, we'll just cut that in two. We'll use this for something else. All right, so let's take our photo. Some glue right across the top. On the back side. Figure out what side, and then I'm going to center these scallops so they look even Steven. Oh yeah, that's great. Perfect. Like that. Perfect. Just a little bit, just a nod. I love it. That's great. Okay, if you want to put a closure on that, you can, but I'm not worried about it because we will have the closure to the I'm gonna take some of the scraps and we'll see what we can make out of that. Oh, Dorothea, I'm really happy that you are enjoying watching the videos, and if I can bring you any sort of peace or enjoyment while you're watching, I am so happy to do so. Okay, so we're just going to glue this side down. So it's a fold out. I know I just got through saying let's keep it thin, but this is just regular copy paper, so it's pretty thin. Just a little surprise on the inside there. I'm not going to show you all of the decor because I want a few surprises for Kimberly. She's put a claim to this journal, so there we go. So pretty. Now I'm thinking this butterfly's throwing me off, but I don't know. Specimen card or whatever you call it. Not sure. For now, you can stay there. We'll see. All right, so this is dry enough. I think I'll trim the edges. Look at that. We made a beautiful journal topper. Not creating anything new, using an old idea that I done before, which I know I really like. So just replicating that with a few tweaks. There, that's really pretty. Okay. So our journal topper's done. We've covered our spine. So now let's do our closure, and then we can figure out pockets and stuff for that later. All right, I'm just going to tidy up a bit and regroup because I'm feeling there's a little bit too much here. Okay, so I've got my sari silk out, and we're going to do a 2-hole ribbon closure. One of the simplest things. If you have not seen this before, if this is your first time watching a video with me here, You're gonna love this. It's a simple, very simple closure. We're gonna poke 2 holes in the back. We're gonna feed a ribbon through it, bring it around to the front and tie it. So simple. Now I think with this one, you can go this way with your ribbons or across. I'm going to go across. Okay, so I have 8.5, my journal is 8.5 tall, 5.5 wide. So I'm just going to find the center. So it'll be 4.25, make myself a little mark where I can see it. Just with pencil that I can erase later, 4.25. And then I'm going to find the center. Where is there that line there? Okay. And then 5.5, I'm measuring from the outside of the journal in. So half of that is 2.5, 2.75. There's that center line I did from the top. Okay, so 2.75, that's the very center. So from here, I want to go an inch out this way and an inch that way. For my closure, I could do it a little closer maybe. No, I think we'll go wide. So an inch from the center is there. And then from that dot, 2.75 is 1.75 here. So I'm using my crocodile and I'm using the larger hole, the 3/16. And then I'm just going to go right on top. Chomp a hole there. And then we're going to chomp a hole over here. Chomp. And I think we are going to do some grommets. Oh, I think I want gold. I think it's just so pretty. Okay, I'm going to go for gold. Yes. So if you're doing a 3/16, we have our the top we want at letter, we want to see letter A. This is A. See the little right there is the letter A, so that's the one I want facing down. Okay, and then on the bottom I want number 1. So again, it looks like that's number 3, 4. I think that's number 1. Yep, that's number 1. Okay, so A and 1 is what I'm using. Get those poked in there. We'll do one at a time. I'm going to flip this back and just use the cover. And oh, I gotta put this on there. So I'm coming down just part way and then making sure that my grommet is hooked onto that top part. Give myself a little squeeze. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And same thing. This has such a long gooseneck here that you can reach right in. Same thing, I'm lining that pokey, that right there. I'm hooking it right onto the, there. Once I feel it's hooked on, like I can't move that back or front or back, then I'll give her a good squeeze. There, beautiful. Lovely. Lovely. How easy is that? No struggle. No hammering. I can't handle the hammering noise, so that's, I quite like the crocodile. The big bite for this, gorgeous. Okay, so that's done. And now we're going to add some sari silk. Now, I don't know how wide we want this. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know we needed it at least 2 times to go around the journal, but if you want to go around the journal twice, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I just did 5, 6 for the bow part. I feel like that's probably, but then you also have to compensate for this side and this side, so we'll just give it one more. It's like one more for the pot kind of thing. So 7 times the width of the journal. Sound good? Let's try it. And this end has a joint. I'm just going to cut that joint off. A joiner joint. Cut that off. Which, if you cut your joints off, hang on to those, because look at that. It's a cute little tag topper. Just like that. Isn't it? Okay, so this is super easy. This part we just feed from the inside of the journal. Like I said, if you're new, you're going to just be like, wow, that's so easy. We're just going to feed that one through the hole, and then the other end we feed through the other hole. Just give it a little poke through. Done. Okay, and then you pull your ends even. That's one way to do it. So we just wrap it around, flip your journal over, and then you just tie it in front like this. So this is pretty long. So that's one way to do it. You could do a double bow because that's so long. So let's just make that bow a little smaller, and then take the rest of these and do another bow like that. That's really pretty. The other thing you can do is wrap a couple times. So for example, let's pull one side a little longer than the other. Making sure we can still come around, yes, but make this side a lot longer. And then we could go around twice, if you like that layered look with your ribbon. Didn't quite center that, but get it centered by pulling one end or the other. Yeah, let me do it right. It's a little bit too short on this side, which is here, so I'm going to pull it to have a little bit more length there. So again, which way direction am I going? Yep. One, around again, and then do your bow or tie or whatever it is you want to do. So that's pretty. You get this kind of double, and then you could do, you know, move it, separate it, keep it together, whatever you like. There's that way to do it. The other thing to do is, if you want your bow over to one side or the other, like say we want it close, or you want it, let's say even on the edge here. Again, you want the one side that's closest shorter, this side longer. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but now this has room to come over. Want it to be even Steven on this side. A little bit more. So this wraps all the way around and comes all the way over to here. And now these are not very even. Get it right, Kathy. Keep pulling it. There we go. So now that's even when it's laid. Pull this piece comes all the way over the journal. So then we can do our bow along the side, if that's your preference. So 7 times the length is a little bit long. If that's what you want to do, you might want to cut that a little bit shorter. Ruby. Shh. Ruby. You're snoring really loud. Shh. Okay. There we go. But I do myself like, I like the bow on the front, I think. And I like the double wrap idea. So I think I'm going to pull this one a little bit shorter. Yep. This one a little bit longer. This goes, I'm going to go around. I'll get rid of all these frays here in a minute. There we go. And then I'm going to put my bow right over here, just to the edge of the journal. There. I think that's my final. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There. I think it's so pretty. Oh, so pretty. I'm glad we were able to fit in those three things. So we have the journal topper, the journal closure, and we covered our spine with some very beautiful lace. This is gorgeous. Okay, so one more video after this, and we are going to do some final embellishing, and we'll use some of our small ephemera. We'll incorporate these two laces into the journal. We'll carry that through. And like I said, I want to leave a few surprises for Kimberly. I still don't have pockets on my covers either. But here, just to show you, if you put a pocket down here, and then you wanted to put a tag inside, this doesn't interfere. You can do it like that. You can also use this as a belly band. You can also put something right behind it and use that as a belly band if you wish. Although it's not super secure, but you could put something in behind like that as well. But you're most definitely going to incorporate some of that ribbon throughout. So I guess I could leave that homework with you to do that. Where's that lace I just used on the front? So we're going to add some, yeah, I'm going to go through and add some more lace here and there to this journal. And that can be your homework for today, is do your closure, your journal topper, cover your spine, and then let's add for homework, let's add a little bit of lace throughout the journal here and there. And then in the next video, we will come through and add our tuck cards, our journaling cards, and some embellishments, and maybe a little stamping or something, and then we'll be done. Well, thank you for hanging out with Ruby and I in the craft room today. I will leave it with you to finish your journal topper, cover your spine, and to add some sort of a journal closure. And in part 5, which will be the last video, I will answer all of your questions that I have seen in the comments. There's a whole bunch of people to say hello to. We'll save that for next video. Thanks again for being here. Take care. I'll see you then. Bye.